Thank you, Ciarán Cora. Can I ask the Minister for Housing the way in which he plans to reduce the social housing waiting list, particularly in the county of Wexford?
Minister English.
Rebuilding Ireland aims to deliver 50,000 additional social housing homes through build acquisition and leasing programmes, and also aims to support some 87,000 additional households through the Housing Assist Payment Scheme and Rental Accommodation Scheme over the 6-year period of the plan. A significant part of that will have an impact on Wexford as well. Very significant progress has been made in delivering on Rebuilding Ireland's targets, including in County Wexford. This is reflected in the reductions recorded on the housing waiting list, with the number of households on Wexford's list reducing by 567, or over 20% between 2016 and 2018, with just under 2,000 additional housing supports provided in the county since 2016. The target for 2019 is for the delivery of an additional 931 housing supports in County Wexford, comprising 353 homes through build, acquisition and leasing programmes, and another 578 households to be supported through the Housing Assistance Payment and Rental Accommodation Scheme, which will have a significant impact on further reducing Wexford's housing list. A substantial focus of all stakeholders is to increase supply through new build activity. Wexford County Council has a social housing construction programme of 58 projects, yielding almost 700 homes over the next 3 years. This pipeline continues to grow with regular approvals for new schemes, and again, we continually ask every local authority to increase their pipeline. When we visit them through the Housing Delivery Office with Minister Murphy and myself, and we meet the different local authorities, either on site in Wexford or in our own meetings up here, we constantly request them to increase the pipeline, add more projects to that. So it's not limited to that at all, but that's where it's at this moment in time. So I am confident that these actions, targets and resources available under Rebuilding Ireland provide a strong platform for continuing to reduce the number of households on waiting lists in Wexford and across the country. And we've set targets for each local authority, but we're asking them to go beyond those targets, to see them as a minimum, not a maximum. And in Wexford, in fairness, when it comes to targets, have gone above their targets, and we're asking them to continue doing that, and we'll make sure that taxpayers' money is there to fund it.
Browne.
Thank you, Minister. And in fairness to the housing section down in Wexford County Council, I think they are doing their best in the circumstances, and they are always available. But I do have a number of, I think, serious issues in relation to social housing. In particular, for example, no doubt within those numbers you gave, there's over 60 houses shovel ready to go in one housing estate in Enniscorthy, and it's been held up by 7.5 months because Irish Water won't give the go-ahead. That's over half a year lost waiting for Irish Water. There's similar problems with other estates in the county of Wexford. I mean, to have a utility body holding up necessary social housing. Wexford County Council has already run out of money to purchase houses for people, and in particular where that's affecting, and I'm concerned it's going to affect, are people with disabilities. The average wait for somebody with a serious disability, even something like a broken back, to get an adapted house is over 2 years. So there are. And I have very real concerns in and around that, and I would ask the Minister, what is he going to do in and around those areas?
Again, Deputy, we're available to meet Wexford Local Authority on any occasion, and in fairness, they're quite active in terms of meeting with us. The specific questions you've asked there have not come to our attention. I can confirm that the budget for acquiring houses is not gone. I'm surprised that that's the impression we're given. We are encouraging local authorities to build more houses and to involve in all the schemes, but naturally, when there's good value to be achieved in acquisition, we're willing to do that. So I'm not sure what information you have, but if Wexford have any particular schemes or houses they want us to buy and they recommend good value, we'll work with them on that. But we are very strong in our encouragement that they build new houses as well as do leasing and so on as well. But acquisition makes sense sometimes, and we certainly fund that when it's requested and explained and backed up with information as well. So I'm not sure where that's coming from. In relation to the 2-year wait for someone with a disability, that should not be the case. And I've been in a lot of houses that Wexford have specifically designed and built for people with special needs, and some families needed a lot of additional help, and so some great success there. So I'm surprised that you have examples of houses that are needing 2 years, because there's plenty of mechanisms there to be able to fund housing like that as well, and Wexford have been involved on a couple of occasions. The issue with the one site you mentioned, Enniscorthy, again, I don't have I know it wasn't raised with me directly to the delivery office. I know that Murphy on numerous occasions we've met Irish Water, we went through different changes in work practices as well. There shouldn't be delays on sites. If there are, we'll certainly dig into that as well.
Thank you, Minister. I suppose the issue is not with Wexford County Council, but it is with Irish Water, who seem to just not getting back to developers who have shovel-ready programmes to go, where houses actually off-plan have been agreed to be purchased by approved housing bodies, but they can't get answers out of Irish Water. And I suppose Wexford County Council is stepping in where they can, but in essence, that simply shouldn't be the case, that houses are being held up for the simpler approval, and especially where these housing developments are in towns and connected to mains water. It is not a big decision for them to make. In relation to the disability and people with serious disabilities trying to get housing, Wexford County Council are doing their best, but there is a shortage. It's a simple supply issue for people with serious disabilities. There's a backlog there of people with disabilities, and they are waiting. So there's a considerable delay, and the current wait is 2 years. The reply I have from Wexford County Council at the moment is that, and perhaps maybe I wasn't clear on this, that Wexford County Council are not purchasing any second-hand houses as our allocation for 2019 is already used up. That's the reply I have from Wexford County Council. And I appreciate it may not know off the top of your head, but if you could come back to me.
Thank you very much, Minister. Can you?
Well, yeah, but I just didn't hear the very last bit you said. But again, funding is available to local authorities when they ask for it to fund certain projects. Again, we've asked Wexford County Council, who've gone way beyond their targets last year, and thankfully they did that and successfully did it in relation to their build, but also in their acquisition. And we encourage that when it makes good sense, good value. And certainly if it's targeted housing for somebody with disability, that's something we encourage. We've also encouraged them to work with private sector housing if there's already social housing tenants in those houses as well. So I'm surprised with that reply you have. I didn't fully hear the wording of what you read out. It was a little bit different what you said at the start, but we'll certainly check it out. But you can be very clear that we'll talk to Wexford County Council on that. In relation to any delays on sites, we have a housing delivery unit that troubleshoots on certain sites where there's problems. You're bringing it to our attention now. It's news to me of a delay of 6 months. It's a little bit different now. You're saying it's a private site, not a council site. It's for a turnkey, but that's fine. We'll check it out. I just said that the local authority haven't come to us with a site that was delayed for 6 or 7 months. But again, to repeat, measures were put in place with Irish Water last summer by Minister Murphy to make sure that this wouldn't happen, because as it caught up, and it shouldn't be happening again.